My motto, I have 3 words that I live by. Live, give, and forgive. Live, give, and forget. I relish, like right now, my phone is off. There's nothing more important than this moment. I try to live like that, to live in the now. And I realize, and I've learned that if you live in the now, in the moment creates momentum. And if you can create the momentum, you don't have to worry about the memories. Okay? I live, I give, and I forgive.
Shawn Harper, hey, thanks for driving down here from Columbus.
Yeah.
Ran into a little traffic. It's an easy drive, but it's boring unless you got good stuff in your mind because all it is just flat corncornfields.
No. It's even worse than that.
It's bad. Tell me how bad it is.
Well, so I went to another address. I'm daggone there next to Lexington, Kentucky. So then I got to try to drive all the way back up to here just to make that happen. But it's fine. I'm good. Just me, my coffee, and listening to the YouTube videos on my latest crypto.
What's going on in crypto?
Well, you know what? If you're not in it, you have about another month, maybe.
Why just a month?
Well, because we're about to jump onto this next cycle. You got a Bitcoin cycle.
You're not talking about just Bitcoin, right? It's at 100K now.
Yeah. Well, Bitcoin, a lot of other cryptos are paired with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So rising tide lifts all ships.
That's what they say.
So when that bad boy goes up, what happens is that now a lot of the money, and now you got this institutional money goes into Bitcoin. And then from there, it flows into Ethereum, and then it flows into the large cap cryptos, and it flows all the way down to the micro cryptos. They got this stuff charted out. So we're in it right now. Yeah.
Is FOMO, is that what's led this crypto craze?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Every 4 years, there's what's called a Bitcoin halving. Okay? Where I don't want to get all up in the weeds, but it's actually
We're in the weeds.
It's actually predicted that there's a less number of validator payouts causes a squeeze, and then that squeeze filters all the way down to the rest of eventually the thousands of cryptocurrencies that are out there. And then it lasts for, so many days, whatever months, and then it's over. Then you go into a bear market. It's timed. It's crazy. I've been falling off and on for about 5 or 6 years, not financial advice.
Yeah, there you go. It's important to have the asterisks, right?
Not financial advice.
One of the big guys that goes on a lot of the podcast, I can't believe his name's escaped me now, but he predicts. It's the guy that bet his whole company on it. I forget his name.
Michael Saylor.
There you go. And he predicts. Boy, there's been a lot of financial predictions over the centuries, though. And there's been a lot. Ray Dalio talks about this.
I love Ray Dalio.
He talks about that he went all in on what he thought was going to happen in the currency markets back in the day, and it broke his company. Right? And he had to go to his dad just to pay his mortgage. So if we love Dalio, it's funny how we take his advice and place it on this crypto stuff because he doesn't love it.
Okay.
So it's right. There's all these opinions, but Michael Saylor believes Bitcoin's going to 13 million.
You know what? I think that's a bit optimistic. I would understand why he would think that way because he has millions and billions of dollars tied up in it. If it did a fourth of that, like right now it's at $100,000. What other asset do you know that went from like $200 to like 2011 and 12 or 2000 whatever, all the way to $100K? That's pretty good. I mean, that's outperforming gold and any other major asset.
44% growth year over year.
Yeah. So
it's pretty strong.
That's not bad. Now you have actual countries purchasing this stuff now. You got Venezuela. Now you have the actual Trump administration talking about having a strategic Bitcoin reserve. China just said, hey, we're about to open it up. I know we didn't like it, but now we like it again. That's a lot. Now you have countries FOMOing in on this. Plus, You have the largest asset manager in the world. You have BlackRock, who has trillions under management. Now, when you have somebody like BlackRock that says, I'm in on this, they don't exactly bet odds, they create odds.
They have a little bit of money.
Yeah. They have people in their pocket.
Have we converted Jamie Dimon yet?
Yeah. Of course we have.
It seems like he's close.
Nah,
You think they're invested in it?
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you think that started? Do you think that because I think he's a very smart finance guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I wonder if when he was talking against it, he was still investing.
You know what? I'm not going to speculate that.
Yeah, I mean, I speculate. I don't know for sure, but
I don't know.
It's kind of funny when that happens because we never know when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they decide to make the move, they're not talking about it yet.
Right.
So it's funny when that happens.
Yeah. I call it the Jim Cramer effect,
Oh, yeah. Talk about old Jim Cramer. Is he still doing his thing?
Yes, he is. I like Jim Cramer, though. He's a monster.
He's wild, man.
Yeah. So, I don't have like a whole lot invested. I like to mess around, but.
You like to day trade? Shawn liked to day trade.
There was a time. When about 15, 20 years ago, I thought I was a guru, man. I was like up early in the morning looking at all the charts and all the indicators and just got burnt.
Is that where that gray hair came from?
Yes, all of it. All the gray hair comes from owning a company. I'm a business owner too.
Boy, let's talk about that. So you own the security company.
Yeah.
You've written the books. You've done all the things, man.
Yeah.
You've spoken on the stages.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about being an entrepreneur. You said the gray hair came from being a business owner.
So an entrepreneur is working corporate America is like swimming. It's like swimming in a pond. It's like a small lake, maybe a large lake, but basically where the parameters are. An entrepreneur is like in the ocean. It takes a different skill set to be an entrepreneur. You have to be able to tell a shark from a dolphin 2 miles away. You got to be able to look at the stars and the charts and the move as an actual. You have to be willing to tread water alone if need be. Because there's not a lot of teaching in our culture that says, hey, let's go to school. Let's go to University of Kentucky and let's get a degree in entrepreneurship. No, it's actually the opposite or the enemy or the antithesis of large businesses, and the actual school model is created for you to become a great worker. Entrepreneur, you're out there. It's a different skill set that you have to develop over adversity and over struggle, over pain, over isolation. But when you develop it, you get stronger and stronger through course correction and fighting.
So why do we do it then?
Why not?
Why not?
Because some people are built for the system. Some people are built to change the system.
How do you know?
Which one you are? By the voice you listen to. By the voice you listen to. You can listen to the crowd. You can go along. But some people have the courage to listen to what's in here.
Where'd that come from you all the way back to if people go online and watch your story and some of the moments you've spoken on stage? You talked to all those kids that doubted you and tried to get you to quit, and you sitting in that the room where you're being evaluated and all the disabilities.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Where what come from? This
ability to look at all the naysayers, the crowd, and say no.
Well, 2 places. And it would be unfair if I mentioned the second one, because I didn't have it then, but I have it now. So, but I'm going to mention it. The second one is that I wasn't meant to fit in. School, if you look at the way school is designed, it's designed to create workers, not innovators and not world changers. So the school system was rejecting me with grades. It was rejecting me with just the actual social hierarchical. It was spewing me out, manifesting in people around me. You're this and you're that. Sometimes the person that is picked on, bullied, rejected What that is that the matrix is trying to break you. And you have to make a decision. And the decision is, I'm chosen. That's why. And once you make that switch, it's just like a good bourbon. You don't mix it. It ain't meant to mix. You are meant to stand alone, but it takes courage to do that. My actual progression was after leaving high school with a 1.62 GPA, graduating last in my class, voted most likely to fail. And I don't share this often, I am flat-footed. I failed like 1 or 2 physicals. I wasn't supposed to play football. And in fact, my coach sent me to his friend who was a doctor just to pass me in high school, okay? And I go off to the junior college in Mason City, Iowa. It's like in the middle of the cornfield.
Been there, man.
Like 26,000 blonde hair, blue eyes. Everyone's last name is Schneider. Okay.
I lived in Coralville, Iowa, outside Iowa City for 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know.
I know.
Off of Highway 18 and just.
There you go.
I had this conversation. And the conversation is, it was that I can't be successful. I don't have what it takes to be successful, but I can win. And I didn't realize what I was doing, but I changed the core of who I was at that moment and who I am today. You see, all actions stem from thoughts. All thoughts come from your belief system. And that's where about 90% of all success teachers stop at, is what you believe to achieve. But there's one step deeper that I'm always working on. I'm a winner. Now that's what's called your self-concept. I'm a winner. It's what I do. I win. So I move out of creation and I move into manifestation because it echoes, it vibrates from me. You're a winner. Now that influences my beliefs, thoughts, and actions. See, up until that point, I was a failure. I was a loser. I was abandoned. I was rejected. And all of that exudes. No, I had to change that because the same guy that went to IU to graduate was the same guy that had a 1.62. It's the same guy that barely started in high school football, the same guy that played professional football. It's the same guy that stuttered. It's the same guy speaking to you right now. What changed? I'm the same person. I had to make a switch.
Did you choose that? Do you remember choosing it?
I said I could win. I didn't realize the gravity of that choice. But I said, because I didn't go to school in deep I just made a choice. I'm a winner. And that's the choice I still make every day.
Boy, choices, huh?
Yeah, I'm a winner.
We talk about this as mindset now. We talk about it as our personal philosophy, all these words that we're using.
Yeah.
Those words weren't spoken to you then. I didn't have them either.
No. That's why I'm saying in this full disclosure, I didn't realize the gravity of that moment. Was that I was attacking what's called the scientific community calls my self-concept. You know, you ever hear people say, I don't know why I just keep having the same situation and I keep attracting the same girl or the same guy. I just keep wind up in the same loop over.
Because you're the same person.
You got to make a decision.
Can everyone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fight. It's a fight. You have to understand, like we were talking about football. We were talking, perfect example. Hold on for a second. Perfect example, okay? And I'm going to start somewhere else, but then I'm going to come back to my alma mater, okay? Take a quarterback from New England. Take Brady. Move him to another team that hasn't won. How is it that one individual can change a franchise in 1 year and go to the Super Bowl? Because winning is contagious. Now take the coach from Indiana University. He goes in there. Indiana hasn't had a consistent winning season since about 30 plus years ago, I'm thinking. And in one season, because winning and winners is contagious. It's contagious and it vibrates from you. It exudes from you.
Is there expectation that goes along with that? How's that come out? Do you think the coach at IU or Tom Brady, do they have an expectation? Is that a word that could be used too?
So I don't know the name of this experiment, but they took 2 two sets of classes. They take two classes. Then they told the professor or the teacher, this class is the smart students. This class is the below average students. Here's the same curriculum. And then he taught each group of students. The reality was it was in reverse. And the results came out that the smart kids performed average and the below average kids were proficient
off
and
the charts.
Off the charts. The expectation is an energy. Expectations is a frequency. It's a vibration that infects and affects people around you. That's why the people you hang around with is so important. Listen to this. It says in the Bible that Jesus, he was about to heal this guy, right? I'm super paraphrasing, so all you theologians out there, look, just spare me, okay? So he's sitting there, and he wanted to heal this guy, but he couldn't. So he had to kick out all the unbelievers. Then this is Jesus, depending on what you believe. He wasn't able to heal because of their unbelief. He had to kick him out the house, then heal him. That's how powerful naysayers and unbelief is around you.
I believe that.
Heck yeah.
I believe it. I see it every day of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually times that we talked about beforehand, but we don't have to go into it. But there's certain times in my life I'm around people, different religious organizations, and sometimes I have some really good friends that are stronger believers than me in parts, right? Mm-hmm. And I've actually verbalized to them, it's like, guys, I have so much respect for you. I'm not trying to change you, so like, don't hang out with me.
Yeah.
I've said that because I can even recognize in the moment, like, people rub off on each other.
Right.
And I don't need people to think and be just like me, because if you're doing good stuff in the world and the thing you believe it's taking you to a place to positively impact others and stuff,
right?
Hey, that's what I want you to do for the world.
Right.
I'm in those moments. I realize that I believe it both ways. And so it's important that this idea that we're a reflection of the top 5 people we're around. I don't know if it's 5, I don't know if it's 3, but it's the people that you spend the majority of your time around. They're going to rub off on you one way or another.
Yes.
Boy, it is hard for a lot of people to cut out those folks in their life, if they're family, if they're close, if they've been friends forever. I mean, that is hard if we're being honest about it, right? It's hard to do. But you're shaking your head like it doesn't matter. It's essential. What do we do with that?
It's so hard. Even at my office, I'm like, there are people, I'm like, but you been with me for so long. Like 9, 10, 12 years. It's like, man, I'm comfortable, and that's a dangerous word. But what got you here can't get you there. You know what? It's like the old space shuttle.
Tyler Perry has a video about this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he talks about when the boosters come off the rocket.
Yeah.
He said you're going to get to certain heights that when the boosters fall off, they can't go higher because they're not designed and made to go there.
Nope.
He said they're like the people in your life.
Yep. Everybody can't go.
Boy, but we're not supposed to judge.
Well, you judge them by their fruits. That's what the word says. So everybody can't go. I'm not actually judging you, but this is where I'm going. Everybody can't go. And that's a really tough decision to make. Everybody can't go.
It gets lonely when you make those decisions.
It's lonely. Leadership can be lonely. I heard a really famous, person say, "Oh, there's never long." No. Yeah. For me, it can be.
I think it's lonely at the top of anything.
Yeah.
I believe that. I don't care what those people say.
Yeah.
I've heard them too.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, if you've gotten to a place where it's not lonely, then maybe you've already executed the thing I'm trying to execute.
Right.
Because maybe everyone you're around is doing the things you're doing, so maybe it's not lonely.
Yeah.
But on your way up, maybe until you get to the elite peak and you're only around climbers that climbed to Mount Everest. Right. On that way up, it gets lonely because people fall off and you find yourself by yourself.
Yeah, because people have, and you mentioned the word mindset earlier, people have a different mindset. They want to, man, I'm not going to say this, but
let's say it.
It's like, oh my God. I would hear people, say, man, thank God it's Friday. I'm like, I don't think like that. I'm like,
you never have.
No, it's like, no, I don't think like that. Oh man, it's the weekend. I get that. Like, no, man, no, I don't process like that. And sometimes I can't hang around that, because if I hang around that, I'll become that. I need to be challenged. I need to
at
be
all moments.
pushed. Yes.
And innovation at every level,
Yes.
all the time, every
Yes.
day, every moment.
Yes.
You know what I struggled not to just be in? I try not to be in agreement with too many people, because this isn't about me. It's literally about what are all these things that Shawn's learned and things he can teach us about his life to dig into you.
Mm-hmm.
But for so long around here, around the company that I run, when we're not doing fun things like these podcasts, helping everybody grow and learn, I wouldn't use the word weekend.
Right.
It's called Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like any other day, guys.
Yeah.
We got things to do today.
Yeah. Because death and life is in the power of the tongue, and you shall eat the fruit thereof. Watch your words. Words and signage is so important. That's why when you see a restaurant or something of a sort close, the day they close, the first thing they take down that sign. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Words are so important.
Why is winning the key to happiness?
Because, well, this is my definition of winning, right? Winning is the fullest expression of who you are mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, yes, financially, and legacy. Successful people are taught to produce. Winners are taught to reproduce. And it's in the reproduction that the satisfaction comes from. To be able to pour out and to pour in to other people, places, and circumstances. That's where the is actually a spiritual law of winning is congruent with nature. You see an apple, a beautiful apple. In that apple, there's a seed. It falls, it dies, the seed germinates, and it reproduces. Winners reproduce. Successful people produce. And there's no true there's happiness at points, but there's no true satisfaction in that. We are created to win.
Every day.
All day.
Tell me about the dream.
Wow. What dream? Just a dream in general? Outside of God and his love, there's nothing more powerful than the dream. The dream is more powerful than every law in the universe. The dream is more powerful than time. I can sit right here and I can be in Bologna, Italy right now, talking to you, looking you in the eye, and I'm out of here. The dream is so powerful. There's nothing, I believe, outside of faith in God and love that's more powerful than the dream. The dream sets the stage. The dream creates the backdrop and the board for you to canvas and draw your life upon. Everything you see in this studio or wherever you are in your car started with a dream. I'm going to fly a plane. What the heck is flying a plane? You got to dream it first. A car, you got to dream it first. A table, you got to dream it first. Even your girlfriend, you got to dream and be with her one day. Everything starts with the dream. If you don't have the dream, then you don't have nothing. And I tell you what, this hurts me because I see so many people lose their dream. Around my age, around the 40s and 50s, they begin to lose their dream. And when you lose your dream, now you're just going through the motions. And if you don't believe me, next time you drive to work in the morning, take your eyes, off of and just look at the people driving to work around you. Look at their eyes, if you can, without getting in a wreck, of course. On your way home, look at them. They're fighting. They're just going through they've lost their dream.
Why? Why'd they lose their dream?
Well, one of the reasons is because they've been sold a lie. It's where I got that I'm a winner from is that the fact that each and every one of us were 90 to 100, whatever, million or billion sperm cells, right? I was the sperm cell. You were the sperm cell that fertilized the egg. Kids, close your ears, okay? You fertilized the egg. That means you won.
I won.
I won.
Yep.
So now I'm going through life. Now, think about when you're in the first and second grade. I want to be a fireman. I want to give back. I want to help. I want to be this.
You believe.
And that. Yeah, it is, I want to be a police. I want to encourage people. I'm going to be a nurse or a doctor, whatever. Giving back. And then around the 3rd grade, 4th grade, right around when you find out Santa Claus ain't real, right? They teach another concept to you, and that's called success. Well, if you really want to be successful or win in life, you have to make 7 and 8 figures. And we have to market you to have a big house and to have this and to have that. And then you spend the rest of your life chasing this because you were told that is what's winning, or that is what success, and that's what makes you happy. So you spend the rest of your life chasing. And about the time you realize with mid-40s that all of this is nothing there, and you're not winning, then they pull the blind back. Well, you know what? You're already invested. You're invested in the subdivision. You're invested in the car. You're invested in this lifestyle.
The mortgage, the credit score, all the things.
You can't, kids going to the good private school and they're going to go to, you can't lose it now. Ta-da. Now you're driving to work. There's no smile on your face and you're on the hamster wheel.
What do we do with that when people find themselves? They just listen to this, right? 90% of the people just listen to this and they're living the life that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So they lost the dream because the next step after the dream is taking action, right? Or no?
Well.
So then if they're not taking action, what do you do? What do you tell the 90% of the people if you believe in them?
You reclaim your dream a little at a time. So guess what? If I'm a doctor, well, you know what? Every month, I'm going to start serving. I'm going to start pouring out. I'm going to start giving. I'm going to start investing. I have this job. No, I make the switch. The job doesn't have me. I have the job. And now I'm going to leverage. Leverage is very powerful. I'm going to leverage my position of where I'm at and say, God, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I invest? How can I plant seeds knowing I'll never eat of its fruit? How can I leverage what I'm doing, my experience, where I'm at, my neighborhood, my subdivision, to give back to help facilitate the dream that you've given me?
So the argument is if you start to defaulting towards more selflessness, the dream comes back. Finding a way to serve, the way to impact the dream comes back.
Yes, because winners reproduce. And one of the things that I've learned in my life and how I was able to be to actually win on so many levels is that, which is, I know it's macro, but I'm gonna come back to this, is that I don't necessarily follow rules, but I never break laws. And one of the laws is that the more you give, the more it will be given unto you. When I'm in a down moment, daggone near a depression or something.
Not feeling good about your day.
I start giving. I go into social media and I find 20, 30 people and I start pouring into them because I'm activating a law, okay? The law of return, sowing and reaping, karma, whatever you want to call it, it's a law. So now where you're at, no matter what you're doing, activate that, leverage what you have where you are and to begin to leverage it and give of yourself and to pour the dream out into other people and then it will come into you. Or maybe you have the ability to take your seed, your dream, and give it to somebody else. Think about this for a second. Tiger Woods, he didn't have that dream originally. That was his daddy's dream, and he put it in Tiger. Look at Venus and Serena. That was a dream that he's like, no, I'm giving you this. So when you see your mini me, when you see your little Shawn Harper or you or whatever, like, you know what, man, listen, come here. You got it. Oh, yes, you do. You got it. Here, I'm going to give you this dream. I'm going to plant it in you, okay? And I'm going to plant it in you, and maybe you are the carrier or maybe you're the manifester, but I'm going to be long gone. You're going to carry this and give it to somebody else.
The power of the mind is significant because what you said earlier is that same kid that people are naysaying and doubting and stuff, that was the same person that ended up playing in the NFL.
Right.
It's the same person that speaks on stage. It's the same person. And so this power of thinking and mindset, is it similar to needing to develop the habits of just going to the gym? Is it a similar analogy and metaphor?
Can you ask that question in another way?
Yeah. So, if you look at somebody that's massively overweight, right? Let's just say you're 150 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
That person's cardio is not going to be good. They're not going to be able to walk very far initially, right?
Right.
But that same person, that if they get to the habit of going to the gym, slowly working on the treadmill, doing some weightlifting, they actually can run a marathon. That same human can do that.
Right.
So is the mind the same way? You have to start working on the mind in an habitual way to develop the habits, because what they say is if you change, it takes 3 or 4 weeks of daily activity to change your habits.
Mm-hmm.
Is the mind the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the mind, but more importantly, the will. The will. I will do it. Okay? The will can be developed. All of this can be developed. Sometimes it takes a kick in the butt. Sometimes it takes a kind word. Sometimes it takes a spark. The thing about the dream is like a seed. You can often count the number of seeds in an orange, but you can never count the number of oranges in the seed. But the seed has to be planted, and it has to be nourished, and the pH balance has to be just right. Like I'm born and raised on the south side of Columbus, Ohio. Now, I'm destined to be a collegiate and, a professional athlete. It wasn't going to happen in Columbus. I have to be around the right environment. I got to get that seed out of me. And sometimes God will send people that will see the king in the kid and speak to that and just plant something, little fertilizer next to that seed. So when the time is right, it'll germinate.
Did you feel it happening?
Excuse me?
16, 17, 18 years old. Did you feel that happening?
No. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to do in some regards. I was just angry. I had to get out of Columbus,
I saw a video of you running a combine. It was only about 3 seconds of a video that's out on YouTube of you.
Okay.
And you were angry.
Yeah.
Your face was angry.
Oh, angry. Very angry. Because of a lot of the naysayers. Because of a lot that was pressure and the abuse. But the thing about anger is that anger always destroys the container that it's held in. And I used that anger for years. I used it for years until I had to, through my faith and prayer, had to take off that contagious log that was contaminated with bad chemicals and put another log of love on top of there. And I'm still in the process
How'd
of
that
doing
happen, though?
Repentance and forgiveness. I had to forgive a lot of people. I had to forgive myself,
That's the biggest part, isn't it?
Yeah. It so many diseases and diseases is caused by stress, strife, and unforgiveness, anger, and bitterness. Yeah, I had to, and I'm still doing it. Today I did it. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm sorry. I'm still doing it. But I'm on a journey. Because love is a very powerful source. It's a clean fuel, and it burns a lot better than resentment and anger.
Feels good to be on this journey now, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's some dark moments.
Yeah, I think what we have to get better at doing is even seeing the people that are crushing it in life, whether that's financial, whether that's success. Like, take the most wealthy guy on paper in the world now, Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy's got a lot of tough days. I feel it.
Yeah.
When I see him in interviews,
yeah,
I'm like, man, I don't think there's many people that would change their life with him. They think they would.
Yeah.
But give them about 5 hours in his shoes.
That's what I hate. Strong word. That's what I hate about our culture. Is that we always show the result. We never show the process.
And the price.
And the price and the pain. We don't talk about that, which gives kids, the younger generation, a false sense of hope and expectations and in actualizations and realizations. It's like, you see a professional athlete, you don't see him throwing up. You don't see the two-a-days. You don't see him away from his wife and kids, for like months on end. You see this amazing singer, but you don't see when she had a fever of 104 and had to perform.
They didn't see the pain in your body after game day, did they, the next day?
No. And it's like, well, this is, and then when they come up against it, it's nowhere in the registry in their psyche
on how to deal with it and how to overcome.
how to deal with it and how to overcome.
Yeah, I know in my life, I appreciate now this place I'm at. I appreciate the hard things.
Yeah.
I didn't say it's fun.
No.
I didn't say that I like them, but I appreciate them.
One of my sayings is no pressure, no diamond. Adversity can break you, but it also can make you a record breaker. The pain, the pressure in your life, it actually increases and it builds to a point to where the same pressure that's holding you down now becomes the same pressure that's pushing you forward.
How can we prepare kids, though, because this society, I'm not mean or anything, but society's gotten soft. And the reason why I say society's gotten soft is because our previous generations have made this life in this world really easy for us. They have given us a platform for us to have the most incredible life and opportunities and things laying at our feet. I can't even believe that we get to call this living in life now. They've given us so much, whether it's the devices we have, our dreams are so much closer to reality now than our previous generations.
Right.
And so I don't know if it's healthy or not for kids to get picked on like I did, but I know I wouldn't be the person if I didn't go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for the ones that wilt and the adversity shrinks them. This is really tough for society right now, because I don't want to see kids be depressed and not believe in themselves and never come out of kids being mean to them, but it happens.
It has to happen. It has to happen. Let's take Elon Musk, okay?
Yep.
Talk about him
I got a story about that, too, because we'll talk about education a little bit, too. I sit on a nonprofit for education, and I'm pretty much done with them, man.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk, but I'm done with them because the mindset of even the leaders in education, I invoked him, and they didn't want to hear any part of it.
Right.
They want innovation.
Right.
Let's talk about the innovator in this world. I don't care about politics. Put it all inside. That guy's doing things that NASA and the government, it would cost them 20 and 30 times, and they couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Why not take that mindset, that innovation mindset? So sorry to interrupt, but
I know. Yeah, it's fine.
Take Elon.
Imagine this. Imagine him having the gall to say. Imagine him having the gall to say, "I'm gonna come up with a spaceship that goes to space and comes back, returnable. This thing can return back to the platform." Okay, NASA's like, bro, we've been doing this. We got a team. We got floors of scientists. What are you talking about? Now, imagine all the ships that exploded. I'm sorry. Imagine all the failures that he had to go through, and the laughing and the emojis for year after year. Tesla. Imagine he's going up against the largest conglomerates in the history of the world. Ford, Chrysler. Imagine going through all of that.
Investors, no money, being broke, the stress, all of it.
Yeah.
Your entire financial life, you're staring down the pit.
You have to. Most people are made for the system. Some people are created to change the system. And he's created to change it.
So are we then just talking to the ones today to not be condescending and insulting? Or are we just talking about the ones that just dare to dream?
It depends on who's listening. I actually had to develop a healthy respect for people who are created for the system.
Because I'm screwed if I don't have people that work in my system.
At my office right now, they literally kicked me out the office because I come in, I'm like, let's do this, let's do this, let's this. They're like, okay. Go away so we can develop proper procedures, practices, redundancies, and KPI. I got a consultant in my office right now building out KPIs and all of that stuff. I'm like, I'm not made for that. Okay, my job is to go out and make it rain. I'm going to go get contracts. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm up at 4 a.m. on a good day, probably 3:30, and my mind is moving, and I'm innovating, and I'm thinking. I had to respect people like that because I would just innovate around a circle had I not have the actual individuals that say, this is my genius. There's some people who are created to live outside the house, and some people who are created to live in the house with systems and procedures. I'm not that guy.
So we just need to all respect each other? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
It's tough not to think everyone should be like us and think like us. That's tough for a human.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're like, well, this is right for me.
You know what's a great example of that? The superheroes. You know, it's like it's like the superheroes have their thing, but you don't really see the superheroes critique or criticize one another. They're like, this is your genius. No matter how wonderful or how mundane it is, somewhere along this journey, we're going to need that strength right there. Superman, as bad as he casts kryptonite. Okay? Hey, Batman, take care of this kryptonite so I can finish taking care of the world. Okay, Superman. Okay, it's like, and that's how you fight with teams like that.
You believe in, what do you do for your business as well? You go and speak, but you have your security company, but then you have keynotes and you talk about a lot of ideas about business. So there's this idea about cultivating a corporate culture.
It's huge.
What about that?
So earlier I mentioned the seed, right? So if the talent is the seed, then the culture is the soil. And you can have a great seed. I've seen it happen. An amazing strain of apple seed, whatever seed. You put it in some jacked up soil with the pHs off, seed's not going to do. I mean, it might not produce as much. It might not even produce at all. You could take an average seed, put it in some great culture with fertilizer and this and love and care, and it's de-weeded properly, and it will sprout. That thing will go through the roof. People don't put enough attention on culture. Another football example. A few years ago, there was a team, the Rams, right?
You got to talk about that?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Super Bowl from a few years ago?
Oh, God, I forgot. I'm right down the street.
You're going to talk about that?
Yes.
We could pull these open and see the windows, see the stadium.
Do you realize?
I'm going to realize whatever you say.
Do you realize that Cincinnati, that the starting left tackle for the Rams came from Cincinnati?
We're going to talk about Whitworth?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to talk about?
Listen, the Rams took the left tackle. They took a washed-up defensive end from Denver, Von Miller. They took a quarterback who's never won a playoff game from Detroit. They took Odell Beckham Jr. that was thrown out of Cleveland, and a host of other people, bought them into with the right culture, with the right timing, and won a Super Bowl with that. Now, I was on the Rams years earlier, and we had Kevin Green. We had
Is that the back end of his career after he played in Carolina and all that?
No, it was before Carolina.
Okay.
We had Jerome Bettis. We had Tim Lester. We had Sean Gilbert. We had Robert Young. We had Jackie Slater. We had Roman Pfeiffer. We had Todd Light.
You had a lot of seeds. You had a lot of seeds.
Flipper Anderson. We had a team. I think we won like 3 games.
What's that feel like?
I don't remember.
So what was wrong with the culture? There was none?
I don't remember. It was honestly, it's not a safe answer. I literally don't. One of the things that I've seen, it takes a really strong leader to actually coach in Los Angeles.
A lot of stuff going on.
So much is going on. I mean, you got commercials, you got this, A-list, that, blah, blah, blah. You have to have whether A is a strong player like LeBron or whatever, or Phil Jackson.
I was just going to say Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Trying to handle Rodman and all them boys.
You need a dog as a leader to keep the team focused and corralled because there's so many distractions in Los Angeles.
Do you think it takes two? Like, I hadn't thought about this before, but the Brady and Belichick thing, the Phil and Michael thing, do you think it takes two? Does it take a player and a coach? Does it take that? Because can just a coach do it without a true captain of the team?
No. You know what? It's really hard to lead any organization without your first follower. There's a video about that. We always focus on Mick Jagger. No one talks about Keith Richards. We always everyone focuses on Bill Gates. No one talks about Paul Allen. We always talk about Warren Buffett. No one talks about Charlie. There's always every team.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah. every team that you ever been on, I've ever been on, here's the coach, and there's always that captain. That why do teams have captains? To enforce the culture.
Is it okay to have the team vote on their captain, or does that need to be? It's kind of that's a weird idea to me that the team votes for the captain.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because you can be popular, but you might not have my energy. You might not have my ethic. You might not have my core. So then there's a disconnect. So there's a yes and no. Maybe I'll give you a pool of people. Here's 7 or 8 people. Now you guys vote on these guys right here. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good combination. So I've always heard this term about, boy, that's a player's coach.
So
we've been, and I won't say names, I think that we've suffered the Cincinnati Bengals with a lot of talent over the past decade. Mm-hmm. We have suffered from that. That's my own opinion from the outside.
So what do you mean by a player's coach?
I can't tell you because I haven't been in a professional locker room on the team.
That's okay.
But here's what it appears from the outside from me being in my high school teams and all this. I haven't ever needed that relationship where I liked my coach. I didn't perceive that to be healthy. I didn't want to be friends with them. I needed them to lead. And we were doing something wrong. They needed to tell us what we were doing wrong, and it wasn't my job to want to have dinner with the guy. Yeah, the quarterback and whoever would go over to his house and have dinner. But I don't think it's healthy just to be liked. I think it appears to me, I don't think fear is a good thing. You don't need to be scared, but you need to respect when that person walks in the room. That regardless of what they say, it's not my job to feel good about what they're going to say. They need to tell me what I need to hear and what I need to be told, regardless if it feels good or not. In my perception of that person, well, that's a player's coach, is they're just too concerned about how they feel. They're too concerned about the players liking them. Mm-hmm. It's what it feels like to me, and I'm like, that shouldn't be important. If it's a byproduct and that happens too, great. I don't think that should be it doesn't seem like you can have the dream building, elite level success of a team,
right?
If that person's trying to be liked and trying to be the employees or the players' coach or leader,
like a schmoozer.
That's what it feels like to me. They're just too worried about how people feel.
Well, you know what counsels all that? The win.
Fixes everything, right?
The win. It's like there's the W or the L at the end of the day. A lot of L's, you ain't got a job. You know, as much as I like you, much you're a great guy, come over. You know what's a great example? One of the best examples in football, in the history of football, is the Indianapolis Colts. You know,
Dungy?
No, the owner. When he had to get rid of Peyton Manning, that was tough. Peyton was ingrained in Indianapolis.
You think the same thing applies for Brady? Because they got rid of him and he went and won the Super Bowl in Tampa.
Do you know how hard it is to make that tough call?
For your top salesperson or your top player.
But to the defense of that, the call didn't come from the coach. I think it came from the leadership up top. There's a bit of a disconnect there. But you have to be able to make that hard call. It doesn't matter, but he was engrafted in him.
And Peyton seemed like a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is
seems
awesome.
Quality.
He's like, but he had to make that decision, and I believe Indianapolis, he fired everybody. Do you know how many sleepless nights? And he had to cry over that. He had to cry because he cares. He's human.
But do you think he did? Maybe he's just a killer.
It's either kill or be killed. You have to make the tough call. That's what separates leadership from a popularity contest. You got to make the hard call. You have to.
So how do we carry that over for being our own leader?
You have to accept the hard call, and you have to be able and to be willing to die on the sword. You have to be like, you know what? This is not good. I have to cut this off. It's like I got to cut off this. I got to cut this relationship off. I have to cut off this addiction. I got to cut this habit off. It's like when the pain on the inside becomes greater than the pain on the outside. You have to do that.
Who's a person? I bet you've been to an event. We just met each other today.
Hey,
I bet you've seen Les Brown a time or two.
I've never seen. And you know what's so crazy? He's from. Well, he's not from Columbus. He spent a lot of time in.
He was a congressperson in Columbus.
Yeah,
he was. Shawn.
He was a radio personality.
He's
big time. Yeah, never seen him. I've never seen him in person. Would love to meet him, but I've never. I know, right? I mean, I've seen him from afar.
You better hurry.
I know, right? I know. I would love to meet. I would love to meet Les Brown. It's awesome.
Make it happen.
Yeah, true. Okay.
He'd love you.
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I see someone say he would love you.
Yeah. I've never met him. I know, right? Okay. All right. It's on my list.
How long is that list?
It's not long at all, but it's on my list now because somehow in that look, I saw a challenge, and I'm a competitor. So
it's like, why not? Like, that's a guy.
2025, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Like, that's a guy, just being around him. Just being around one person like him can probably take you to the next level.
Yeah. Easy.
The brilliance and the things that's in his brain, the things that he knows and he's learned.
He's fascinating. He actually shifted the game to a whole new level. How
good was that guy on stage?
Man, he's awesome.
His communication.
His flow. He just, the way that he moves, his flow is infectious. There's not a lot of them out there like that.
There's not.
But
maybe that's the same thing as these elite coaches, these elite players, right? Other humans could become that. They just haven't. They haven't turned themselves into it, because he had a similar thing to you. I mean, remember they told him in high school, the story is, they said he was dumb, he couldn't learn, all these things. And there was one, he says, Mr. Washington, that was one of his teachers. And he got up on stage and he was stuttering. And he made him like announce, I don't know what it was some day for the school, and they laughed him off because he couldn't announce it. And he was all nervous, and he said, you get back up there, man.
Yep.
You go do it. He's like, I can't. He's like, you absolutely can. You go back up there and do it. And all of it comes from just like one person believing in him, helping him find the dream.
You know what? So, not to ever try to steal any kind of energy from that comment, but the same thing happened to me.
That's what I'm saying. I feel it.
Yeah. It was fourth grade, and my teacher each class at Mola Elementary had one student read a poem over the old PA system, right? And she said, Shawn, I'm stuttering. Shawn, you're going to read this poem. Write a poem and go read it on the PA. I was like, She said, write a poem and go read it on the PA. I wrote a poem, and they said, now Shawn Harper's going to get the poem. I was like, something star, you go far, pink guitar, hard.
You believed.
That moment clicked. I still stuttered, but I was able to find something to grab onto, to anchor myself to. Somebody saw the king and the kid.
They believed in you a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what we started out in the beginning. I'm like, you just hope from these podcasts sitting across from accomplished people in their space, like people just, it's unfortunate, but they're just finding it hard to believe.
Yeah.
In all things.
Us Christians call it hope. We don't talk about hope. We talk about, the faith and the love and things like that, but our hope is here. So our hope is in our checkbook. Our hope is in our financial statement. To be able to hope outside of that is like an anchor, and it can, and you place it afar, and now you move towards it and it moves towards you. The hope is that I can see it from afar. We don't teach that in our culture because, honestly, two things. You mentioned educational system. Would love to hear what you got to say about that. That's number one, our actual educational system. And number two, how the heck do you hope for stuff you already have? Like, we have so much here. You know, we have I mean, now my heart envies the immigrant from another country who comes to the U.S. with a grind like I've never. Dude, have you ever hired like those like third site like Upwork and you hire those people from different men? They'll work and they be like done. Like hold on. No, done. They're hungry. That's the word. They're hungry.
They have a sense of urgency.
Yes.
That unfortunately has been lost on so many.
Yeah.
And when I speak to that for people that grew up in our privileged world in this United States of America, because I think all of us are privileged, right, compared to the rest of the world, the opportunity we have, they look at me like I'm crazy.
No.
They look at me like I'm crazy.
Hire somebody on one of those sites. Yep. I'm not going to mention all of them.
Yep.
Go to one of them sites. Yep. Hire somebody that's good with like a 4 to 5 star, level 2 or 3. Yep. Give them something to do. Go to bed and wake up the next day.
Yep. We're talking. I mean, these VAs are all around the country now. These people in the Philippines and parts of Africa, they're working circles around Americans' work ethic.
Yes.
I know.
I'm like, wow.
I'm in the midst right now of. I had somebody on my team today have a call and an interview with someone in the Philippines of bringing on some VAs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the insane thing is their average income is $1 per day.
Yeah.
They're going to be paid $5 a day through the company, through the VA company, and they're going to work 3 times the efficiency of an American employee.
Yeah.
That's the moment, even though I'm positive and optimistic, that's sad. And when I say stuff like that, I'm like, what are y'all going to do about it?
It's scary, actually.
It is. It actually is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what's the thing about, we're creating a world that is going to be made more difficult than generations. Our previous generations for us built this world for us, and we're just letting it fall apart.
Yeah.
We are. We're letting it fall apart. Yeah. To not pass the same things on. Yeah. So the education system. Here's what I don't understand and comprehend. So I grew up. It's this story that you hear so many people. Poor financially, right? Public school. A great mom, not the best dad. If we talked about it off screen, it's like really not the best one. And so positively influenced by our mom, he wouldn't work and had addictions, all these things, all the bad stuff. But public school kid, hand-me-down clothes, no money. I mean, there's stories that if my mom ever comes on she's 78 years old, she's an awesome lady. It's, you know how people, when we say we're poor, it's like, well, yeah, you weren't my level of poor. Here's how poor at one moment in my life we were. I'm 4 or 5 years old. I'm the youngest kid. She told the story. I took my mom to lunch 2 or 3 years ago. I don't see her as much as the rest of my siblings. We text, we talk, but I work. And we all have different roles in life. If she ever needs anything financially, here I am. Right. But I went out and saw her 2 weekends ago, but we were sitting down and I took her to lunch to a place that was a really nice lunch, and we sat on the sidewalk here in downtown Covington, Kentucky, right across the road from river from Ohio, from Cincinnati. And she said, you know what's so funny about us sitting here and having this expensive lunch? And I said, no, tell me. And she said, you remember that story that I told about frozen potatoes? And I said, I kind of remember it, but tell me again. And she said, I don't know how old you were. You were 4 or 5. We had no money, no food, and we always had gardens in the summer, and we canned the food. That's what poor people did.
Right.
And so she said, I didn't have anywhere else I could turn. Get government food stamps, that whole thing. But we only used to get them for a few months. It wasn't for life. Then you had to take responsibility. So she said, I went out. It was below freezing in the middle of the winter, and I had to dig up frozen potatoes. And that's what we had for dinner. And I'm sitting here now. And when I told people, I'm at this place where every once in a while I get invited to a nonprofit board until they realize like I'm kind of an anarchist. And the systems just...
Yeah.
I just don't work well within their systems. So they invited me to a room about 2 years ago. And everybody is realizing that something's not working inside certain parts of this public education system. There's things that aren't working. The outcomes aren't happening. The intended outcomes aren't happening. And I don't think that's just here in Cincinnati. I think it's all over the country.
Right.
There's a huge segment between the schools and the kids that are winning and the ones who aren't. And it seems like we've been talking about that for decades now. Mm-hmm. So they invited me into this room, and the reasons are good. It's a lot of people with a lot of money in this room looking at real stats about the performance of public schools. And it's the things we already know. We know what districts are and what districts aren't.
Right.
And the funny thing is you always hear about money. The problem is, in the best school districts, talking about tax dollars, there's more tax dollars per student. Nope, everybody tries to not talk about it. That's the honest truth. In northern Kentucky here, which is right across from Cincinnati, there's more tax dollars per student spent in the underperforming schools. I saw what the studies are done. It's BS, what everybody else says. Mm. Now, the money at home's different, but the actual tax dollars that are spent on these districts, the 2 lowest performing districts in all of northern Kentucky, they're urban, there's more tax revenue spent per student than tax revenue in the higher performing schools. That's a fact. I don't know why they're trying to argue about it. Nobody wants to deal with the truth. And so they invite me in here, and I'm a guy that in the room of the millionaires and billionaires, you give me a mic, I'm going to say something. The superintendent's there, everybody's there. And I said, here's what doesn't make sense to me. The public school system that raised this poor kid got me in this room with you all. What is wrong with us? Why, as a society, I was poor, a piece of shit dad, right? How are we falling back when there's more money that's paid per student than back then? You guys aren't dealing with the underlying society problems, what's going on here. This isn't a money problem. You can say it's a teacher problem. You can say it's an infrastructure problem. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say what I say, y'all. It's a people problem. And this society, from what I'm seeing, not any individual, this society isn't willing to do the hard shit that it's going to take to make these kids believe and have them understand what they have to do every single day and what it takes to build a great life. And maybe there aren't people there impacting them. Maybe that's the case, but we are proving that money's. So then we get into another room. I don't know why they kept inviting me back. I don't think they're inviting me back anymore. I sat on work groups, and I sat back and said, this is the same shit. This is the same stuff that I see that happens in all these bureaucratic places. Nothing gets accomplished, man. It's committees and all these ideas because they won't deal with the fact. So I'm sitting in this room. These are provosts from universities. These are chair people, the people running the organizations, superintendents, nonprofits, all the people leading the biggest organizations. And we had an out-of-town person, like we need somebody out of town to come tell us how we need to do it. And they said, hey, we really want to be the place for innovation of education. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, that's a good idea. And so room talks for an hour and a half, and I heard enough. All these smart people. And I said, hey, let's talk about the innovators of our time. And this was before actually Musk became political. Mm-hmm. This is like a year and a half ago. He wasn't real political then. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, and I talked about what SpaceX was doing versus what NASA couldn't do. And I said, you all have we ever thought that just maybe, and I know this, you all, just maybe, it can't be changed from the inside. Just maybe. Because y'all have all the money and you ain't figuring it out. If we're talking about innovation, what's the idea and the innovative approach that he brought to SpaceX that somebody should bring to education? And there was a really powerful lady in the room from one of the universities, and she pretty much told me I was wrong, pretty much without saying it because they all want to be political. And I said, you guys won't even consider unique and novel ideas outside of your bubble and the way you've always seen it. And that day, that moment, I was like, I see what's happening. And here's the other part. Somebody well-respected, and then I want to turn it over to you and hear what you have to say. And if this is passionate, what your idea is. Somebody that's really well-respected in our community, an awesome human, has been engaged in the university levels and then a chairperson for one of the departments of university. After one of our meetings, they pulled me aside, and they hadn't ever met me because I'm not political. I don't care about all their little groups and parties. And I don't care about any of that. And they're like, hey, Mark, you're right. But hey, psst, over at the side, it's actually worse than you're saying. Because what they ended up saying, they're like, hey, there's real data. This isn't just about single parents. It's about single moms. Mm-hmm. They won't talk about it They won't actually discuss the reality of what the hell is happening in society. And I'm like, if the studies are there, we don't have to tell the moms they're bad. Let's do something to fix the system. What's the thing that we need to do? If you're telling me that you at the university level and all these level education, you've identified it, but you can't talk about it, what is happening here? Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you like these types of conversations, be sure to follow The Necessary Entrepreneur on your favorite platform so you never miss out on future content. All these people, they care. They're there. They're spending their time, but we won't do the hard damn things, man. That's where I bring it all the way back around. We aren't willing to do the hard things at any level of society about what it takes to really improve generation after generation after generation. And maybe you can take it to a different place, man. But
yeah. So one of the reasons is because the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the educational breakdown is a byproduct of the breakdown of the family
in society.
That's it.
Yep.
It's so now all of it is being forced, or it's actually being channeled into the school and through the school. One end, they're not able to maintain it. But on the other end, I don't think they want to maintain it. They want to pacify it because there's profit in there. Okay. So now you're going back to the root, which is outside of their room. And they're like, let's focus on how we fix it within the room. And it's a byproduct. It's like, I'll give you an example. A teacher, a coach, they teach and they coach through the authority vein. Okay? The teacher, I'm the authority. The coach, I'm the authority. Well, there's a breakdown there because at home, the kid has no concept of authority. So now the parent didn't prime that pump. So then when the kid goes to school and the teacher's like, be quiet, the kid's like, who are you? I don't even be quiet when my mom tells me to be quiet. I have no concept of authority. So guess what? Respect is not there now. Honor is not there now. And a whole host of other things because it wasn't set up properly. I would love to, have an actual nuclear family, but even with mom priming that, and then coming alongside of the educational system and say, hey, we're working together for the positive outcome. There's a totally disconnect by design, I believe. So now all of a sudden, the educational system, we're going to be the incubator. We're going to be the hub of the entire raising of a child with outside of home. We're going to do it. And guess what? We're falling apart.
I just had somebody on the podcast a week and a half ago. This guy grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. He played Simba on the Broadway Lion King, one of the most significant, and he did it nationwide. Mm-hmm. And I talked about why he was the way he was. Massively accomplished guy, positive at every level. I said, why do you feel so responsible? Mm-hmm. And he said, because I have a legacy and a name. My name meant something. Mm-hmm. Him and his 7 siblings. Mm-hmm. I knew every day I got up when I went to school, my name meant something, and I had to uphold that. It started at home with mom.
Yeah. My mom single parent, okay? So
it can be done.
Yeah. She raised all 6 of us by herself on the south side of Columbus. She was a maid. She scrubbed floors in really affluent neighborhoods to make ends meet.
Is that around Reynoldsburg, that whole area and stuff, or further south?
No, yeah, it was further south.
South downtown.
Yes, south of downtown, Fairwood.
Tough part of town.
Yeah, extremely tough. There's 6 of us.
Yep.
Then she adopted one. There's 7. Now there's like 7 of us. There's 7 Harpers, and she ran that household. She ran it, okay? And when the teachers would call, it was Armageddon. Don't let mom come in for a parent-teacher conference. I remember one time the principal was wrong. The principal was flat out wrong. And she said, baby, leave the room. She kicked me out the principal's office, sent me down the hall, and I found out later, she ripped that principal. She ripped him.
But she understood not to do it in front of you.
Exactly.
Because the leadership that was important for him to have when you were at school.
Exactly. Then she invited me back 10 minutes later. His face is all red. It was a different story. But she understood the importance of authority. I understood authority. I understood respect. I understood honor. It was all there.
So if we're sitting here talking about this, and I can talk about it, see, the issue is we're identifying these problems. What the hell do we do with it? Because this thing's big.
Wow. I don't know.
I'm the same thing.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know, because we have to have an honest conversation with ourselves. The systems have to have a really honest conversation. Like, this is not working, and until they have that honest conversation, I don't know. I feel bad because I do tons of school assemblies a year. Even though I'm old and gray, they still ask me to come in and speak to these middle school and high, and I love it. And I speak to them, I motivate them, but I'm looking in their eyes and I'm like, wow. I'm even looking at the teachers. I'm looking at the principals, because the teachers and the principals are catching it too. They're catching it from the parents. They're catching it from society. They got emails coming down from, this and the superintendents and they're like, man, I see so much, but it's only so much I can do.
They don't even have a chance to teach anymore.
No, they're trapped. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know.
Can this be done? And so I try to can this be done with those underperforming kids that are still going back to those homes every night where there's not an expectation? Can it be done while they're going back there and being influenced more there than in this? It can?
Yes. Because hope is a very powerful word. Belief is you have to understand is that each teacher, like right now, I can count on one hand the people that really believed in me. Half of the people, my fourth grade teacher, my third grade teacher, my 11th grade home ec teacher who saved me from getting thrown out of school the third time. Miss Ben stepped in and she saved me. Okay. She saw the king in the kid. The teachers have, although, they're not A's and B's and honor, but when you see the potential and you speak to the potential in these kids, it's a seed and it's planted. And oftentimes in the darkest moments, those seeds will germinate. It's like, I still remember Coach Marvin Bohannon saying, son, if you get yourself together, you can be a great athlete. I can still hear that. 30, 40 years, I still hear him. Planting seeds, their job is not only to teach, but to educate. Okay? You can educate a curriculum and things like that, but you can foster, you can encourage, and you can teach belief. You can teach stick-to-itness. You can teach grit, to see that. Some of the things that my fifth grade teacher told my fourth grade, I still see them today. Teachers are powerful. Their words mean something. Yes, it can be done.
And you're sitting here in spite of a GPA.
Yeah, I remember at junior college, the athletic director, I went back to junior college early. The athletic director, Mr. Dunbar, stepped in and intervened in my life because I was going to stay on campus in the summertime, and he's like, you can't stay there. He said, I will do this. I see something in you. I'm going to put you in a dorm room by yourself, in that entire dorm room by myself. He said, I see it, and I'm going to make it happen. Pray, teachers, that you see it, because you guys are our last defense. Without you, if we lose you, we lose everything.
I don't think they can fix it from within, man.
Well,
I don't, and that's I want to see people travel the journey that you have and that I have, because we're the ones out here that can now help change the world too.
Right.
And I don't look at it from a negative standpoint, but they don't believe, man.
Right. But I'm not asking them to fix it. I'm asking them to plant the seeds so that when the pressure comes, there's an option. when the pressure comes, when the adversity comes, when the pain comes, when the abuse or the opportunity to do something wrong, there's an option. Miss such and such said I was about something. Mr. such and such believes in me. I'll do it for him.
So
I'll do it for her.
So maybe your curriculum is about teaching the teacher, not teaching the kids.
Yes, I would love that. God, I would love that. I would.
It's not going to happen, guys. You got to do it.
Oh my God, is that another challenge? Okay, I got Les Brown here.
That's easy.
Now,
That's
okay,
easy.
Okay, done. Now, teaching the teachers. Okay, easy. I can do that. I've done that, but I've not done it consistently. But yeah, sure, done. Write it down.
What have you learned from writing these two books? You have The Winning Edge and then Winologist. What have you learned?
Wow. Well, first and foremost, that I can do it. It took me 5 years to write the first book.
That's it?
It took
Just
me
5?
It took me starting and stopping and starting and stopping. It took me that. The actual second thing I've learned is that, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but it's like God has blessed me with some good content. You know, because when you have other people like, bro, and I'm thinking, I'm just saying them, you know, no, like it's different. God has blessed you with some different type of content. I'm like, okay, yeah. And it's awesome. And how important words are. Because in a few years, I might not be here no more. But that bad boy right there is timeless. Those books are timeless. Wow. That's legacy.
Does legacy matter? As I said, if you think about that, a lot of people ask the question. I don't usually get asked the question. I'm not, but I don't know if it matters to you. But yeah, you're sitting here like a combination of like Tavis Smiley and Les Brown.
Okay. Well, Tavis went to IU, Indiana, so you know
I haven't seen him for a while. He used to be on PBS.
I know.
He was right before Charlie Rose.
I know.
I'd catch both of them.
I know.
When I was even poor in life and I had to turn off the cable,
that's
what I watched at night when I'd go home. Both of those would be on. I think Tavis was on at like 10 and Charlie Rose was on at like 11 or something.
Tavis. Oh, Tavis.
What's he up to now? Do you know?
I don't know.
I wonder. And I'm saying all these.
Wonder? Come on, let's find out.
Well, no, he's not one of my. He's when you're sitting here. When you're sitting here and
make it happen. We're gonna make it happen.
I just think you should when you breathe the things that are similar to a guy like a Les Brown, you should meet him because you might be able to become him and more.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Legacy.
Yeah.
First, what is it? What is legacy? What is it?
Your name eternal.
Yeah, but we're forgot about in 3 generations. They don't even remember us. Unless your name's Michelangelo or...
It's okay. Guess what? When I'm gone, they may not remember Aaron Shawn Harper, but they'll see Aaron Shawn Harper in my son. And then when he's gone, they might not remember Caleb Shawn Harper, but they'll remember Caleb Shawn Harper and his sons and sons and sons. Okay? I don't remember my great-great-grandfather, but he's in me. The legacy is greater than the name. The legacy. It's like it is our duty to carry it all the way through. It's like when I mentioned Tiger Woods and his father, who knows? The dream might not have started with him. It could have started with his father's father. When we read the story about the slave ships, right, that came over from Africa, it was it's a lot of millions and millions of people that died in the Middle Passage, okay? It's a lot of millions of people, okay? They had a dream of freedom. That dream of freedom was passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation till one day the timing was right, the soil was right, and that they were able to walk into it. Your legacy is greater than your name.
You think they had the dream of freedom when they were a slave in the ship?
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to be free.
And then one day a Frederick Douglass wakes up.
Yeah. And it might not have started with Frederick Douglass.
It probably didn't. It's what you're talking about. It started generations before.
It's passed down. It's passed down. You know, it's just carriers of the dream is passed down. That's why it's so important to dream.
That one day we can be judged based on the content of our character.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were getting there for a while. Something's pulling us back. We're going to figure this out, I guess, society. We won't go down that path, but it feels like something's pulling us back from that.
Yeah.
I think we were close. Like, I really think it feels like a society. It feels like we were getting close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I'm trying to figure that one out to try to make a positive difference. Like, why are we slipping back here? I think it might go back to this thing, maybe from good intentions, that everybody just wants. There's certain people in this world that just want everybody to feel good. I guess that's a admirable thought, but I've never gotten anywhere great in my life from feeling good in the beginning.
So transparency is scary. Mm-hmm. You're never going to change until you have an honest conversation with yourself and with other people. The honest it's like you take prejudice. And I'll say prejudice, I won't say racism.
In all forms.
Yeah.
Yep.
You take prejudice. Would it be awesome? Would it be, somebody do this, please. Somebody listening to me, do this. Get a room, put a very racist person on one side, put a very militant brother or someone else on the other side, maybe a couple more people, and let's have a discussion. Why do you feel the way you feel? I dare you. You'll never see it because people profit from people being different.
You know, there's a guy who's done that. You know, the guy's name is Daryl Davis.
Okay.
A black musician that wondered the same thing. So he went and said, I'm going to go talk to one of these KKK guys. It's out there. He's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. He's been on all of them.
Okay.
And these guys became friends.
Yeah.
And then that guy in the KKK, he introduced him to more people. And he started asking the question. He's like, why do you feel about me the way you do?
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a big person to be willing to hear that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly the bigger person in the room, to sit down from someone and say, take my emotions, my feelings and everything, look at someone else and to say, why do you feel that way about me? I want you to be honest.
Right.
Why do you?
Right.
Who taught you that?
Right.
Did you legitimately have an experience that you shouldn't associate with that person of my color of skin? Now you put that on me. What is this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is, I think when all that falls away, because it starts with judgment. We can say prejudice. It's judgment.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop judging yourself, you probably stop judging others, you'll probably stop judging yourself. It's hilarious how it happens. So, but now this guy has there's like 30 or 40 like legit KKK guys that now they aren't anymore, and now all these guys are friends.
Yep.
That this thing's profited from. Man, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
That's sick. But I think, how are we going to conquer this? Because it probably started all the way, you invoke the Bible and religious stuff, but a Cain and Abel moment and stuff. That's even between brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like throughout history and life, whether it's the Greeks against whoever, it's almost like we're prejudiced against people that don't look and believe the things that look like us and believe the things I think.
One way to stop it?
Yeah.
Is to focus on the win.
There you go. Does this go back to the thing, and I'm not making an argument, a statement, does this go back to the Morgan Freeman statement? I don't know if he's right or not.
What do you say?
So I think Larry King asked him how you stop racism, and he's like, stop talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's not popular in society.
No, that's not my opinion. But I love Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's awesome.
And so that's why I'm like, man, like that guy, because think about the traveled experience he probably had being his age.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he's at this place. Maybe he's at an elite level of thinking.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that because Morgan Freeman's a monster.
Yeah.
I love Morgan Freeman. Try this.
Yeah.
My experience is the win is greater. So what I mean by that is when I went to Indiana.
Hey, it's Indiana. It's Indiana. Well, we can go there. It's Indiana.
No, let's not go there. Okay. I went to Indiana. But you know what? I've had teammates, and I knew they may have thought differently, but on that football field, we're concerned about the win.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, your sweat is my sweat. Your blood is my blood. We're going to win. That win is so strong. We have to we have to focus on the win. It's like number one, focus on the win and create a win-win. Big win.
But you know what that takes? That takes personal responsibility at every level.
Yeah.
It takes accountability.
Mm-hmm.
It takes owning every part of it, whether it's your fault or not, taking 100% complete responsibility, whether you should have to or not.
Mm-hmm.
For every outcome, for everything that happens, good or bad, owning every part of it. And then you can wake up and be sitting here like you're sitting here and sitting here like I'm sitting here. Because the life that we've traveled, it was hard in our own individual hard ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I know that is because I think the majority of people have hard things in life. Life's hard.
Yeah.
Life's hard. Even no matter mentally where you've come to and you can speak and breathe into these ideas, there's moments of your life that are still really hard.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
You got kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
It's hard. Oh, yeah. I know.
You've probably had relationships, good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
Mm-hmm.
You've had friends that haven't lived up to be the friend they should be, and there's probably moments that you haven't been the friend you should have been.
Right.
Life's hard.
Hard. But outside of this conversation, where is there validation for that? This is what I mean. Okay. The majority times you go to church, we don't hear that. When we look on social media, we don't hear that. When we're at our work cubicle, we don't hear that. So now we think because we're experiencing life so hard that we are an anomaly. You're not an anomaly. Then one day you wake up and somebody like, oh, what happened to such and such? What a shame. Life's hard. Why isn't that message taught?
Here's why. I've been waiting to say this for a long time. Because for some reason, we're now raised in these generations to believe that somebody's always going to come and save us.
Ooh.
And unfortunately, that's why politics has failed now, both sides.
Okay.
Because all they're doing is convincing their Democratic people and their Republican people that we're going to fix your problems. Every one of them, every side. And that's the reason why every 8 years, one gets kicked out and they bring the other party in. Because both sides are continuing to try to trick everyone that I'm going to come and solve your problems. Where what they should be saying is, both parties together, you got to do the work. And this shit's hard, and you have responsibility in society to get up and pay it forward a little bit more, and we're not coming to save your ass. We'll give you a hand up, but we ain't giving you no hand out. Personal responsibility. And for some reason in society, I think because giving stuff away and making people feel like I'm going to save you, I guess it gets votes, man. It gets wins, I guess.
Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't stop there. Look at the media. Like what TV show, what sitcom talks about the pain?
None of them. But, there's a few people. Who's the guy that was Dirty Jobs, the Dirty Jobs guy? Remember his name? Damn it, I forget. If you Google that and stuff. But this guy's elite and high, and he talks about it. Nobody wants to hear this shit, man. Right? And I think it's the reason even why in Elon, why they're starting to crush him now. Because, man, he talks about the pain and how hard it is and stuff. But here's what I'm going to tell you. It is the media's fault, but if the politicians all together would rise up and they'd put a stop to all the shit, media wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Not politicians.
No, but that's the problem. This is an issue. They're supposedly our leaders.
Right.
They're not leading anything.
I think it's the people. I mean,
what comes first is a chicken or an egg thing.
Yeah. I think if the people make a decision and say, you know what? Nah.
But they are people. Politicians are people. The media people are people.
Yeah. People people who are portraying a story, replicating a story, a brand, the American dream. That's a great marketing. That was the best ever. The American dream was the best marketing I've ever. If you think about that, that was some good marketing right there.
But people bought into it.
Why wouldn't you?
And look at what life became for us. Because previous generations, whether you like it or not, but they bought into it.
Right.
And they created a better life for us, man. They did. I don't know if you own a home, but I could sell you one. You can buy one. Women, they can vote, just like men can now.
So then what happened?
Life became too easy, man.
Yeah.
I've only gotten this far in my life because I consistently signed up for the hard things and I refused to quit. That's it. And then when you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing hard things, then you sign up for more additional hard things. And then when there's individuals that rise up in the society and continue to do hard things and solve hard problems, that benefits those around you. There used to be a lot more people in our society that were willing to do the hard things. We run from them now.
Mm-hmm.
We run from them. And yeah, life's become too easy. And I wish that we could live in King Arthur's court and have the Knights of the Round Table and live on that hill that just seems like this is utopia. I wish humans were capable of, when things are easy and good, to continue doing hard things. I wish we were, but we seem to not be capable of it.
Well, you just said it yourself. You came from pain.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's missing, the pain. And sometimes, even if you're having a great life, you have to introduce the pain. You have to introduce the struggle. You got to say to your son, there's no money for you in my inheritance. You have to go, get away. Remember when I was in college, man, I knew that this kid comes from a very wealthy family. Man, Shawn, dude, I just need a little bit of money for a bologna sandwich, man. I knew the family, very wealthy, not a dime. The pain. Do you understand the pain of me being in school, hustling, trying to get money, borrowing money for pizza, dying for, it was called a care package. I got a care package.
From mom or from home. And when everybody gather around, yeah.
Here's a ho-ho. Yeah. Here's a Reese cup. We got a care package.
And how that felt.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, Caleb, you will make you a care pack. My son's in UK right now. We make you a care package? Dad.
Yep.
I got a card. Chick-fil-A is in my building. I can go off campus. I can eat this 24 hours a day.
You think in the midst of that, are you still going to develop? Because you're a guy that's going to fight to develop that strong human, that kid.
You know what? Honestly, I'm kind of nervous. Because even though, we homeschooled up until the 5th and 6th grade, even though I put it, in him, I still see a little bit, I'm not happy. Daddy's not happy with what, he's smart, muy inteligente, education, but I'm like, man, you gotta grind, and I don't see it. But let me tell you what I do see. There's been a few situations in his life where the pressure hit and he responded. That's my saving grace. Lord, is there enough in him that when the pain comes, and the pain will come, when the pain comes, will it click and he'll get up and rise up and move forward? That's my prayer. That's it. But I'm not 100% happy with even with what I see. A father of a motivational speaker and a driver. I'm not 100% happy. I'm not.
Well, I tell you, what do Mark and Shawn do to solve all the problems?
Who's Mark? You? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
That's good. I'm the necessary entrepreneur. I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
What do we do to solve all the problems?
You can't solve all. You can only do your part.
Okay. So what's that look like to the average person doing our part?
Plant seeds, knowing you will never eat of its fruit. Okay. It's just you know what? My motto. I have 3 words that I live by: live, give, and forgive. Live, give, and forget. I relish. Like right now, my phone is off. There's nothing more important than this moment. I try to live like that, to live in the now. And I realize, and I've learned that if you live in the now, in the moment creates momentum. And if you can create the momentum, you don't have to worry about the memories. Okay? I live, I give, and I forgive. And I'm like, God, show me, who am I supposed to be the blessing to?
That's good. There's a direct path between the life you're currently living and the one you want to live. I've learned that. There's a direct path, and it's massive action every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I know it's a direct path is I can sit here and listen to you, and everybody listening can hear your story. And I know my live story too.
Mm-hmm.
And you can come from these places that you just don't have any idea that this finish line, I keep running new races, but whatever the current race is, that the finish line looks like that, and I'm here at the beginning, and how the heck do I run that race?
Mm-hmm.
I just know you got to get started. And what the benefit to me is, I've told it a few times, and I weave it into when I'm on stage and I talk to a few folks. We have these moments in life. You have the teacher in 4th grade. We have these moments. I remember being a 14-year-old kid and working. That's what people like us did.
Mm-hmm.
And because I did some homeschool for a while. Middle school was all homeschool for me. 6th through 10th. And I worked a full-time job during homeschool. 12 years old, 13 years old, full-time job. And I remember working for a landscaping company at 14 years old. The guy went to my church, owned a company. And I was working on that mansion. It's a similar your mom probably cleaning houses. But I was doing landscaping at this mansion in Cincinnati. The lady pulls up. She drives by in her gold Jaguar. And something happened to me that day. I felt the judgment of the wealthy person. I felt the realization that I'm working for $4 an hour. That I'm on my hands and knees in this flower bed in the front of this mansion that overlooks the Ohio River. But I realized it was my job to pull weeds out of this huge flower bed that day. I was getting paid $4 an hour to pull weeds. And I pulled some weeds where they broke off and didn't get the root. And the 14-year-old kid knew that that wasn't doing a good job. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, hold on. If I don't pull the root out, I'm not living up to the $4 an hour wage that this guy's paying me, because that weed's going to come back. And when that weed comes back, then he's not going to do the job that they paid him to do. And that's going to have negative ramifications for him. Something about that day and that moment, I was always that hardworking kid, but something at that moment said, I'm paid to do this job. I agreed to do it. I need to do it the best I possibly can. Pulling weed by weed. Didn't matter how much I got paid. Didn't matter the role I accepted, what the current job was. It's what I choose to do that day. And the funny thing is, that attitude for that 14-year-old kid right then began a path to be right here where I am today. Because every job that I did after that, every class I took in school, I realized this is the thing I'm doing today. I need to do the absolute best that this guy can do today. And then what happened is that led me to the next day being just a little bit better. The next day, see, I didn't have to start to learn how to pull the weeds. I already knew how to pull them. So I could clean the bed faster. And then you just keep stacking. And you wake up in 6 or 12 months and you're like, oh, I'm really good at that job. I'm ready for the next one. I'm really good at that job. I'm ready for the next one. And then what happens one day, these guys who started this company before real estate, I work for a retail company, Lids, the headwear company. And the 2 guys who started it are from Indianapolis. So I spent a lot of time in the Midwest. And I worked part-time for them, became an assistant. I was in Iowa because of them. I was helping them build stores and open stores at a young age. And one of the 2 guys that founded and started that company, multimillionaire, they sold it to a publicly traded company. He's retired at 40-something years old. Now he's in his 50s and 60s, living an incredible life. Owns part of a minor league baseball team in Illinois. The life. And he came to town 3 years ago. I say, come down. I'm starting this podcast. We're not going to be good. But he was like the first 1 or 2 guys on. It was so bad. Just like anything you do in the beginning. And he was walking around our nice office, a different floor than we're on now. And about 40 seconds in, he said, hey, Perk. My last name's Perkins. I said, yeah. He said, I can see that the students become the teacher. And that happened from me dusting off hat shelves in stores, making sure that a fitted New Era 5950 goes from a 6 5/8 in the front to an 8 in the back. And they look perfect on those shelves. And every moment that a light bulb goes out in the store, whether it's Polaris on the north side in Columbus, right, or it's a Greenwood Mall in Indiana, Florence, all these places, that light is replaced instantly because it's about the experience. That it's salespeople's job to get out from behind the cash wrap and go to the lease line that we called it And every single person that walks by that store, you treat them and talk to them like they're your friend. And all of a sudden, they come in and buy hats. Every single one of those jobs led me to a point where then you can lead a company with hundreds of employees. But it's hard, and it takes a long time. There's a direct path where everybody is in their life, from where they're at now to where they want to be, and it's 100% possible. There's just not enough people telling us that.
Wax on and wax off.
My 10-minute story is that.
No.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, that's it. It's wax on and wax off. Mastering the mundane. Just like this. Wax on, wax off. And that's it right there. Faithful over the little. But he had to have a teacher to make him do it. Or you have to have a situation or a job to make you do it and to come to that realization. Wax on, wax off.
What do you hope for this wife? I think you're like 49.
I'm 56.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm tired of this, man. I'm going to exchange skin color with you, man. Something about that. I tell you what. It's BS. I saw something about 75, and I figured, I don't know what that was. I figured you were born in 75, but you weren't.
Born in 68.
Yep. All right. So 56. If you have the opportunity to live a full life and you end up in your mid to late 80s, what do you hope you see? Because you said hope's important.
Yeah.
What do you hope you see?
I hope I see my dream come to fruition. And my dream is that I am pretty close to being a billionaire. And I am traveling around the world, building orphanages, helping in creating and building revivals, feeding the poor, and nobody knows it's me. I'm like Charlie on Charlie's Angels. It's like this dude doesn't even, I have so many shell companies, you don't even know that I exist. It's like I am in and out. I have built a huge opportunity for people in a third world country, and before the ribbon's cut, I'm 3 countries over. You don't even know it's me. I got a front person. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. In and out. That's what I want.
That's not very big. You know I'm being sarcastic.
Okay. I'll take that.
We got Mother Teresa like 10 sitting across from me. I didn't even know it, right? Does it take a billionaire to do that?
No, but for what I want to do. Okay. For what I want to do. I'm talking major developments. Major. Like, let's just build an entire community. Let's leverage my $500 million and a few other friends. Let's build entire communities.
What is leverage? So you said it's so important before, and you talked about it again.
Everything's leverage. Football's leverage. Life is leverage. It's taking your position, taking your environment, and amplifying it. So right now, my son's at the University of Kentucky, and I'm like, son, your goal before you graduate, I need a few hundred people in your LinkedIn address right now. I need you every day. You're building that LinkedIn because relationships is leverage. Can you imagine 10, 15 years from now, the people who you graduate with? I'm going back to tomorrow. I'm speaking in Indianapolis for the Indiana-Purdue game. Okay, I'm leveraging my relationships and having people leverage me. It's huge.
How are you going to go from where you're at to the billion?
I don't have to know all the pieces. All I have to do is have the will and look for the opportunities to come. I don't have to know all the pieces. I mean,
you have to look for them.
Huh?
You have to look for them. You have to be on the lookout,
I have
right?
to recognize them. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a time when I would say, well, yeah, it's real estate. I could do real estate right now, blah, blah, blah. Like, that might not be the play. That play could be it's leveraging my coaching, it's leveraging my speaking. It's like, boom, I do that. The ROI is off the chart. I don't have to have all the answers. I just have to have the will to do it and course correct until I get there.
What I like about being around you, man, is you're willing to put in the time to build the infrastructure that then you can leverage it. It's
Yes.
almost like that's what you've been doing. And now you're arriving this place. It's time to leverage it all.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
everything you've done,
Yeah.
every snap you took, every moment you were on stage, every hand you've shook, every person it's time to leverage that now.
Do you know how many speaking engagements I accept because of the fact I used to play collegiate and professional football? I mean, I didn't have a huge career. It doesn't
7
matter.
years in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, NFL.
You get a little
NFL,
retirement money.
Yeah,
you get a couple dollars.
yeah, but leveraging the brand.
Yeah.
Where people get messed up in life is when they get to 40s and 50s and they have no leverage. Now they're being leveraged. They're being leveraged by their job. They're being leveraged by bills. They're being and it's like, I can't move. That's tough.
Maybe they're leveraged on who they were, not who they are now.
True.
I remember a commercial. Did you play against Emmitt Smith?
Well, I'm an offensive lineman, so,
But were you playing when he played? I don't know. I'm tough with he played in the 90s. He won those Cowboy championships in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. So there's a commercial with him, and I don't really know a bunch about him. But I just know he was a great running back and has all these stats and won these championships. And there's a commercial where after he won one of the championships or after they won the second Super Bowl, they won back-to-back, I think, didn't they?
I
don't remember. All right, so this commercial, it's a Nike commercial or Converse or Adidas, and he's benching.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hey, you just won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you get to celebrate?
Right.
And he took it down, one rep, and came back up. And he said, that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
We work all this time to get to the big win.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to start right over again.
Yeah. It depends. Because you get to the point to where you now replicate the wins in other people. You create win-wins. So, yeah, you're moving to the next level, but I'm now building a win in you. Oh, yeah. Now I'm winning. I'm waking up winning. I go to bed winning. That's where you get into the reproduction.
Is that the coaching platform and all the stuff you're building? And
yeah, it's like win-win. Man, that's huge.
What do you think about 2025? What does Shawn's brain?
Positioning myself for the win. Yeah, it's like, well, if this person's in office, how do I win? If this person's in office, how do I win? Yeah, I mean, I'm not, it's like, okay, I got to navigate this way. I got to pivot this way. Before you can pivot, you have to position yourself. You got to get down. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'm sniffing. I'm looking like, okay, how do I win? How do I win? What's the best way to win? Yeah, that's it.
It says play to win. Harness the vision, the mindset, strategies, and teamwork needed to rise to the highest potential. We've talked a lot about that, but that's on your website.
Yeah.
If somebody has never been around winners, what do you do?
You do nothing. Do they want to be around winners? It's the question. Do you want to change? Do you want to grow? Everybody can't go. If you don't want it, I can't give it to you. If you're too comfortable, I can't give it to you. If you're satisfied, I can't give it to you. And eventually, I can't be around you. Do you want it?
Did you used to spend more time with the ones that didn't want it as much?
Yeah.
I think that's the journey for everyone.
Yeah. And you would, and I would hear it, One of the things I do, it's my little test, right? It's my winner's test. Winners tend to focus on where they're going to, not what they're going through. So when I'm around somebody and all they're speaking about is what they're going through, it's not a winner. Because you still got to play the game. And if you don't know it's a game, you're being played by the game. I don't care if you're like a 1 in 100 team. You won one game in 20 years. You still got to play Michigan. You still have to play the game. You got to line up and play. You might as well get out there and play to win. Because the game is going to get played. And if you don't want to play, the game's going to play you.
Well, it's playing itself out every day around us.
Yes.
That's your point.
Yeah.
Every day and every moment it's being played. You can sit back and complain and cry and look at all the problems, or else you can get in there and do something about it.
Get in there.
So we talked about in the beginning, and we're here now. There's a big game. We're going to date ourselves on the podcast, but it is what it is. But there was a big game this past weekend. You were there.
Yeah.
Right? Your alma mater, IU.
Yeah.
Played at Ohio State. IU's riding a wave they haven't ridden in decades. 10-0. Coach just got a big addition to his contract, getting paid. Didn't quite turn out the way that you wanted to and all those teammates wanted to.
Yeah.
Was it a talent issue?
I think that talent had a piece in it. I also think that the stage was maybe a little bigger than what they were accustomed to. But the thing about that is that when you lift weights and you lift till failure, if you go back home and you take a couple of days and try it again, you're going to be a little bit stronger. And now you've given Indiana a taste of another level. Now in their repertoire, there's a chance that they can become inoculated from the pressure now. You've just created a monster and you don't even realize it, because the coach is like, he will absorb it, then he'll come back. From the best champions are the ones who experience failure. They learn from it, and then they don't call it failure. They call it tuition. Tuition was paid.
It's the price you paid.
Tuition was paid on Saturday. Now, you take that team with the absence of 5-star and prima donnas. Now, next year, you sprinkle a couple 4, maybe 1 or 2 5-stars on that roster. You got a problem.
For everyone they're going to play.
Everyone is going to feel the pain, which is why I believe that Ohio State was intention was to get so loud, because they've never experienced that before. But now they've experienced it.
Isn't that an analogy for life?
It is.
We sit back here and we're fans of all these sports teams. And we look at these people of doing things that maybe we couldn't do, or this elite level. And it's like, guys, that's the life you're living every day. You're fighting the same battle every day, and you don't realize it, and you're not conscious of it.
You know what separates the athlete on the field versus the person in the stand? It's the system that they're a part of. Now check it out. You got an athlete. The athlete has a trainer, coach, teammates, cheerleaders, mentor. They're all there around him or her to bring greatness out. But we do life alone, so we experience it all. We need to have that. Every winner needs an ecosystem. You have to have, and the more pieces you have, the better you'll be.
The higher you can rise.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that's ever been done great alone.
No.
Maybe there's something, but I don't know of it.
Yeah.
There's someone there or some group of people there that have been behind the scenes doing it all.
Yep.
Yeah. What about business? We're sitting here on Entrepreneurial Podcast talking about doing the necessary things in life. We talked in the beginning, we're crazy about entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
you know it's going to be hard, and we still sign up for these things. But I've also seen most businesses fail. And I've seen that it make people's lives worse than better. I have seen that. People that have started a business and it's failed.
What do they do afterwards?
It's all the things that I know, but I want to help other people to have this resilient mind, to have this grit, to have the determination. Part of the issue is they quit, but you can learn something from quitting too, I guess. I don't know. That's a new idea for me. I don't know.
Yeah. See, so imagine, let's just take yourself. I don't know a whole lot about you. You
You've been around folks, though.
Yeah. But imagine had you quit the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or seventh, or eighth, or ninth, or the 87th time and said, I'm throwing in the towel and I'm going back to work with my head, with my tail between my legs. It would be miserable too. Do you realize if you go to Google right now and type in bankruptcies, millionaires,
Most of them.
the average millionaire has filed for bankruptcy 3.2 times. 3 failures. I keep going back to Elon Musk. Look at the number of rockets that exploded. People are miserable because they stop trying and they give up.
What Musk, I follow the story, and most of us have probably read the book and everything, but he accepted that failure was a part of the win.
Yes.
He knew that.
Yes.
Where most institutions, they actually think it's failure.
Yes. By design.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a story about that.
Yeah.
So my son, he went to, we were doing pretty good in life, so we were sitting to like a private school, right, in Columbus. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, he comes home one day with like a D or an F, and I just like, I lose it. I'm like, bruh, son, what are you doing? You know how much it costs to go to the school? Like, what? You're not applying yourself. You're not taking it serious, Caleb. I'm giving him the talk. And he's like, Dad, only thing I got to do is open up this book, find the answers, and I'll get half credit. I went through the roof. I'm like, I'm not paying for that. That's stupid. But I missed it. They're teaching the kids how to course correct. They're teaching the kids how to work through failure. But typically, when you go to school, you take a test, you fail. Oh, bad. You got a red F. Okay, work hard, get a counselor. Okay, let's move on. You're stuck back here, and it compounds. But he was able to work through the failure, get half credit, got a C plus, and then number one, he's able to retain the information, and number two, it changes his perspective of failure. Failure is your friend.
Oh, that's a hell of a statement. Okay, I'm not there because I'm not going to lunch with it. I'm not going out with it, with the failure. I hate it. And so I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I hate. There's a Gary Vaynerchuk. He's this crazy social media guy, right?
Yeah.
He said, you got to embrace and love failure.
Yeah.
So I'm actually on this side. Like, I don't love it. I'm not going to love it, but I still accept that it's a part of the success. I accept it's necessary.
But you can extract so much from that.
You can. If you chase failure down and you really embrace it, you can learn more than running away from it.
Starting this amazing podcast.
Well, it's not amazing yet.
Yeah, it is.
We've just begun.
Dude, I'm like, this is pretty sweet. I'm looking at the camera set up. I'm looking at this. I bet you at some point that camera was at the wrong angle.
I bet it was at the right angle. Because we've tried it many, many times.
Exactly.
Here's the angle it's at.
Failure. Yeah. Now, wait a second now. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
On one end, you can't get upset at how life doesn't talk about the failures of social media and no one talks about it. And then at the same time, you having a level of wins and success in your life and not put the failures out there to embrace it and say, look, it's a part of the process. You have to be able to say, this is a part of I just never gave up. I just spanked you. I just broke you, failure.
Yeah. You just kept going.
I just kept going.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've accepted that it's a necessary part.
Yeah.
And that when it shows up, you got to work through it and you got to figure it out and keep going. I'm just being honest. Like, I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't. I would prefer to learn all the lessons through winning and not failing. I'd prefer, in a perfect world, I would prefer that. Mm-hmm. If I could learn all the lessons and understand when I win, still see the things I need to do better. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way. But if it did, I'd choose that. I'm just willing to embrace the fail. I'm willing to embrace it because I know I'm not growing without it. Mm-hmm. So when it shows up, I'm like, oh, here you are again. Let's go.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. However.
Yeah. It might not be your failure that's pushing you. It could have been the failure of maybe
I'm running away from being poor my whole life, man. That's it.
There was.
Yeah, I'm running away from being poor.
His failure.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah.
Now, but there was still failure in the equation.
Yeah. Oh, I'm running away from.
Yeah.
The pain.
Yes.
Of being poor. My whole life.
That is what my son has an experience. I'm like, boy, I'm paying for school. I'm doing that. I'm like, man, you should be studying this. Well, like I'm trying to get him into like blockchain technology. And he's like, no, I'm like, boy, do you not understand this is the future? But there's no pain there. But when he gets out of school,
I think that is what sucks for generations now.
Yeah.
They're going to go through it at some point.
Yeah.
And they haven't built the infrastructure and they're not as prepared. So life's going to be harder later.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that for them. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you can fix it because it is so easy now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy.
It is easy. What'd you do? Let him come across the bluegrass for?
Well, he went to Kent State the first year.
Is that Toledo? It's up in north of Ohio, northeast Ohio.
It was a COVID year.
That's weird for these kids to go through.
Yeah, and he was like, okay, and so he prayed, and he's like, God, where do you want me to go to school at? And out of nowhere, it was like UK, and he was like, huh? He's like, Dad, I think I'm supposed to go to UK. I said, son, go for it. He went, he applied, he got right in first round, and he's an RA. He's a residence advisor there. And I'm like,
of course, leadership.
Yeah, I'm like, to the core too. I'm like, Lord, thank you.
Is there military in your background at all?
None.
He could be that guy, couldn't he?
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy officer.
He could have been an ROTC guy and all that stuff.
God, he'd be like a lieutenant, because he's, boom, astute. Yeah.
What's he going to do when he comes out? It's okay not to know, but.
He's in the cybersecurity. He's like knee deep in the cybersecurity.
He's coming to work with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want him to want to work, not need to work. So I'm working on helping him to create leverage now. Passive income, things like that, to where it's like, okay, I want to do this, not I need to do this.
What has he taught you versus what you've taught him?
My son has taught me patience. So I'm not the typical, I'm not the super patient person, but being around him, seeing how he addressed things and how he moves at times, he's made me kind of take a step back. He has taught me a level of love. Like, I love my son so much. And I'll say this, and I've shared it with the queen, which is my wife. That's my queen. Had it not been for him, I don't know, there are certain points that I would have still been married. It's just his presence. His presence is just amazing. But number one is patience.
Boy, that's tough for a guy like you to interject into life, because it feels like you're putting a harness or a reins on a horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now I realize that instead of it holding me back, it was protecting me.
Okay, because I was going to say, we got to get to 1 billion here.
Yeah. But you know what? When you have somebody on your team that's like, baby, I'm for you, it makes it a lot easier.
Is that the wife?
That's the queen. Yeah. Yeah. And it's more and more. It wasn't like that earlier on. It was not like that at all.
Because you were fighting it. The ego was fighting it too, right? That's not it?
No.
Not at all?
No, it's like, I'm going to take over the world. She's like, okay, hold on. How's this going to happen? We need this.
Family.
We need this. We need that. I was like, oh my God, but now it's more like, I trust you, but I trust the God in you. Yeah. So it's getting easier, a lot easier.
Organization and patience.
Yes.
Organization from her and patience from him.
Yes.
What do you think you give to them?
Freedom. I mean, I'm grinding. I think in the last 21 days, been to Hawaii speaking, been to California, Mexico, South Dakota.
It was good until then.
I know, right? We had you got to take the good with the bad, okay? The pain.
Is that Sioux Falls? Were you in Sioux Falls?
I don't know where I was.
You're in the middle of some
Yo,
frozen.
Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Because that's the only city in the whole damn state. I said it. I said it.
Hey, it wasn't me. Whoever.
I said it. I said it.
But she is a systems girl.
Don't we need those?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I am the polar opposite.
Yeah.
So she can step out of the systems and into my world, grab tight and be like, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go, baby. Where are we going? Don't worry about it. What hotel we at? Don't worry about it. Did you rent a car? No. But we out. Oh, okay. I give her the freedom.
This is a special moment. Who knew at 56, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why we're never too old.
No.
That's why you still have plenty of time. 56. You're just on the brink.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right there on the precipice and right on the brink.
Yeah.
This could be exciting.
It will be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say could because that's my default to the average person because I'm like, through your decisions, it will be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Give us some passing thoughts because, I mean, we appreciate you driving. I think you were trying to see your son. Is that what you were trying to do?
No. You know what's so funny? We left like a half hour apart because he was in Columbus. He's driving down to Lexington, taking a lab, and driving back for Thanksgiving, like a 24-hour turn.
See, he's got to work, man. He's got to work.
Yeah, I think he does. It's deep inside of me, but
He's got to work.
So we looked on the phone map. We were like 20 minutes from each other, almost all the way down.
At what point did it occur to you, like,
I took the wrong way?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Well, I don't know. And for the people who don't know, maybe I mentioned it. That,
you didn't on here.
Okay. That I was scheduled here. I got plenty of time, right? And I drive all the way down, probably about 20 minutes outside of Lexington. And I'm like, phone service goes out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big river to the right of me. I don't know what that river's called.
Kentucky River.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
There's no phone service.
Mm-hmm.
People looking at me crazy
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a brother in Southern Kentucky driving around a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hi.
What type of car?
Oh my God.
You said it.
Okay. I got a brand new Aviator. I love that thing.
Those are nice.
Love it.
Got to drive a Lincoln.
I love that car. It's fast too. It got some power in there. I'm just driving around and the phone service goes out and I'm like, Queen, when it comes back in, I think I got the wrong address in the wrong town. And we looked it up and sure enough, and so you was gracious enough to wait for about an hour to get me back up here.
No, you kidding me?
To get it done.
You wait for the great ones, man.
Oh, well, praise God. I receive it. Thank you, Lord, for making me great.
So what, how in the world do people engage with you? This isn't just about the marketing plug and all that and stuff, but how do they get them some more of, and you said Aaron once, because we go by Shawn.
Aaron Shawn Harper.
Yeah.
That's my full name.
Yeah.
I know, right? Okay. You want to know that story? So my dad.
Is this like Aaron?
Yes, Aaron. My dad named me Aaron Shawn Harper. My mom was like, I don't like that name. So yes, his name will be Aaron, but I'm gonna call him Shawn. And then that's how it stuck. And of course, when he left, it was Shawn all the way. So
yeah, we ain't using that Aaron thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think happened? I think we're really close, man. Keep on doing a lot of good stuff. I think that 2025, it feels like it can be the beginning of something really, really good, because it seems like I sat down on another floor today and I was talking to some of our real estate salespeople. And I looked out and I said, it feels like there's a calmness. It feels like in the moment, there's a moment of calm. And on the back of just some craziness for years about us not knowing how to act, about how's the new world operate, all these things. It feels like it's a moment in society where we, not the so-called leaders, not the politicians, not them, that we, the world's just sitting here waiting for us to design the life that we actually know we're supposed to have. It's inside of us. We feel it, even the ones who haven't taken full advantage of it yet. It feels like there's an opportunity But we need the Aarons. We need the Shawns. We need you guys to go out here in every stage that you're on, and every person that you're around, to make an impact and make a difference, because we've lost a little bit with the teachers, with the systems that we've built. And people are looking for answers, man. I feel it. I do. I feel it, that society and our country and people in the world, they're looking for answers, and it's almost like how to act again. And so they need you. It's a good time for you.
That's a blessing. I receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now this is the moment in your life. Son's grown up. It's time to give all back now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's time to give back all the way.
Yeah.
You guys, you're in a season of your life, because there's these seasons. You're in a season of your life where you can start to plant and help people reap this harvest, and like, let's go.
Yeah.
You feel that responsibility, don't you?
You know, one of the things that I'm looking to do, and that I do at a certain level right now, is I coach former athletes. It's former collegiate, professional athletes. And I'm like, guys, you can take that same energy you use playing football, and you can use it in life and in corporate. Just to have them to corral that energy and just redirect it. I think that is a big calling, and particularly men, not just former athletes, but just men, but just, athletes and men, to just challenge them to go to the next level. That it's okay to move and to breathe in your masculinity. It's okay. Yeah.
It's part of the new world we're talking about here, right? This new understanding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good happening. There's a lot of really quality people out here. And you can just flip a switch. That's what can happen in our society. Like, all we have to do is just flip this switch. And that switch is like, you spoke about planting the seed. And there's another analogy or metaphor that you have to plant the tree for which the shade that we will never sit under. And society stopped doing that a while, right? We stopped feeding into others, whether we're going to receive back or not. It's incredible, the life that these folks can have, and I hope that your voice and the person that you are and the quality human being. I didn't know you in the previous time until now, but you're a guy to go out here and make a positive impact and a positive difference. And the world's ready for it. And what I said the other day to my significant other, we're not married, we've been together 16 years. So I told her the other day, she's highly successful in her area. And I said, the world is shrinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Location and geography used to matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't anymore.
Nope.
Right? And because the world's shrinking, the impact that can be made now with one individual, with one entity, one institution, is compounded in such a way that we never before realized.
Good and bad.
Yeah, so we got to be the good.
Right.
Right?
Right.
There's probably good and bad with everything.
Yeah.
Social media, it's good because we can reach a lot of folks. Bad if there's the wrong people reaching them.
Yep.
Right? But I think good, if people are willing to fight, good wins over evil, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that, right?
The darker the night, the brighter the light.
There you go. So you've got all these things inside. I'm just a normal little country boy that just knows that hard work pays off. No, for real. Like I don't memorize I read the books. I've read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I've read the books, but I'm not a guy who memorizes the quotes. I just know when I hear a good one. I'm not somebody that I'm not going to be responsible for creating a lot of great individuals, but here's the thing, I know when I'm around them.
But you're on the team.
Yeah, and so here's what's awesome.
No. You're on the team. So right now, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but
you can.
No.
Okay.
Everyone who's listening right now, I bet they can't name the 5 starting offensive linemen on their favorite team. Right. However, they watch it, and we hide in plain sight. We fight the game so that they can play the game, so that you can watch the game. But we're all on the same team. You might say, you know what? I'm going to sponsor this kid to do this and this and that and that. I'm going to give this parent another chance with like real estate. Or, you know what? I'm going to help them. I'm still on the team. I'm playing my part. Everybody's on the team. Like, I mentioned earlier, who in God's name was Paul Allen? I have not heard him say one thing ever. Died third richest man in the world. Who's Charlie? Who the hell is Charlie? Warren Buffett? Yeah. Who's Charlie?
There's a better one. The guy who owns the Clippers now.
Okay.
He was like number 12 at Microsoft. Steve Ballmer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Never. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. I believe in Virginia, there's a wall. And all there is on the wall is stars of the and I believe it. Don't quote me. I don't want the Army, the Air Force calling me Marines, but there's a hidden list of all people in special ops that you will never know, or snipers who've paid the price. They'll never get a parade. They'll never get a major ceremony. They do it in the dark. But them the ones. You the one.
Nah, that's good. See, that's good. That's good. That's good. I think if anybody out here feels like they're normal and regular and they're not meant for big and great things, they're wrong. Like that they're wrong.
Yeah.
And I can speak that because that's like the journey I've traveled.
Mm-hmm.
And every bit of the life that they want to live doesn't need to be a billionaire. Look at Musk. That's really hard. But whatever in their life is the dream, there's a dream that's much more simple than what social media is telling us. There's a dream of like, I don't think the American dream should be the dream of home ownership. I'm gonna be honest. I think the dream is to live in a home that you don't have a mortgage on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think the dream is to drive a car that you don't have a payment on.
Mm-hmm.
The dream is to be able to pay all your bills on a monthly basis and not have to use a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And at some moment to be able to sit back on a porch or a back porch with the 5 or 10 people that you really love, to sit around and just enjoy an average day around those folks. They all don't have to leverage like me and you want to, our lives and our business, but to sit back and have peace and freedom that you invoked.
That's good.
Yeah. This isn't about being a millionaire and a billionaire. Like, I know I'm not going to be happier with some of the stuff I was just saying, but I know that some of those people are actually happier than me.
You know what's so amazing is the older you are, the older you get, the older you become, the more you revert back to the original dream. When I speak to people in the 70s and 80s, they never talk about their portfolio. They never talk about, well, this is my mansion and this is it. They talk about family. They talk about legacy. And I never share this story, but my father left when I was about 2 or 3 years of age. But in around 1997, 1998, he came back to the security company and he got downsized from his job. And every day from 98 to 2018, 17, he may have missed 4 days in the office every day. And he basically raised me. I couldn't stand him for most of the years. He raised me all over again. And on the last day before he died, we used to have this little game we play. He's like, you shake a man's hand, you don't let him turn your hand this way because that asserts dominance, right? To make it straight up. Don't make him straight up, right? On the last day on his deathbed, we was playing our game, and he turned his hand under, and he looked at me. He couldn't really talk. And he was like, it's yours now. And in that moment, out of all what he's been through, I believe he's like, I won. I win. Because his new wife wanted him to go to Vegas and be the consultant for a major hotel chain. He said, I'm going to stay with my boy every day. And he was like, son, you got to do this, and you got to shake up. You got to put a jacket on whenever you have it. That's why I got a jacket on right now. I came in a T-shirt. I changed it, put a jacket on, and blah, blah, blah. But the legacy of just getting all that is in you, out of you, all the seeds out of you throughout your life. So when that last day is, I die empty. That
live full,
yes,
die empty.
That to me is the ultimate win.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody should understand. Get off social media, get off the millionaire and billionaire stuff, and if it's a dream, chase it. But I think a lot of people get there and they're not happy. However, I will check all the billionaires, all the Richard Bransons, and all these guys. They can say what they want. It sure is easy sitting from that billionaire peak to say it's not about the money. And okay, listen, you sure ain't giving it away. You might now feel philanthropically that you're trying to improve the world, but if all of a sudden I rose up to that mountain and say, will you give me some? They're going to laugh you right off of it. Don't tell me that there isn't a value from having money to have leverage to live the life you want to live.
Right.
There's value to that.
Yes.
Right. And so, but I do know it's true too. If you haven't lived a life full and haven't breathed into people, and you don't have people around you that you love and that you care about and care about you, it's probably gonna be lonely.
Yeah.
The money ain't gonna mean anything.
Nope.
Right. I'm excited to watch it, man. I can't believe you're going to be 85 years old and you'll look like you're 33. That's what happens, right? You're like Benjamin Button. You're Benjamin Button of like inspiration and changing people's lives, right? I hope that the extra drive in the bluegrass, I hope that it was nice for you, and I hope you mentally went to a nice, calm place because we were waiting on you. But that's
thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting on me.
I think, again, that's what we do with the great folks of the world. So these two books, you can go on Amazon and find them, right?
Yep.
The Winologist?
The Winologist is the second book, and The Winning Edge is the first one. Yeah.
I like the first title first.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah. I like it too.
Yeah.
I like it so much I had to
Took you 5 years.
No. The first one is The Winologist.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Winning Edge is the second one. Yeah.
You like it so much that?
I trademarked it.
The Winning Edge?
The Winologist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's all about the win.
Yeah.
But you got to take a lot of losses to get to the win.
Baseball players do it.
Oh, we're going to talk about that? We're going to talk about they fail 60% and they still make the Hall of Fame? So, I mean, it's true. It's real. I mean, it's real, but because in my life, that's wrapping up, but I don't win 30% of the time.
Yeah.
I don't. It's some very, very small percentage. And I'm talking a win about having the intended outcome for everything I do. Doesn't happen that often. But if you have a bunch of at-bats every day, you're going to stack up enough wins to compound something special.
Remember Kobe's last game?
Talk about it.
Well, it was his last game, and everybody was coming out Kobe, and he just started shooting, and he was missing. But he kept shooting, and he finally started sinking them. But in the beginning, he was missing them. But he kept his last game. He kept shooting until he was able to win it.
So, folks, Shawn Harper says, keep shooting.
Shoot your shot.
Wow, that's good. Hey, what's the one place we go to find you? Like, there's all of them, but what's the place?
It's Shawn Harper Wins. Shawn with a W. ShawnHarperWins.com.
If you want to win a lot in life, follow this dude. He's got some things coming.
Yeah.
And when you go talk to IU and Purdue next week?
Tomorrow.
I'm
driving. As soon as we leave here, I'm going to Indianapolis.
Is that where you're talking to him? You're talking about, is it the IUPU?
No, it's like they get about 200 people from the Purdue alumni and then the Indiana alumni. They all meet, and then it's supposed to be like a semi-roast, but I'm going to look past that and just...
Because the Boilermakers are easy to roast.
They're really, I mean, they're sorry, period.
A lot of engineers come out of school,
Wait, that was pretty good. The peanuts are easy to roast. Okay. Oh, my bad.
Thank you, man. We'll give you some more coffee. Hey, thanks for coming in. I think you'll probably have another book coming out.
Yeah.
People can see you on stage. Businesses can hire you to come speak to them.
Yeah.
They can hire your security company.
That's right.
All these things. And then one day you're going to hand it over to your son, and he's going to take it to the next level. Not you hope. It'll happen. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for coming in. Have a great 2025. Thanksgiving. What's your favorite holiday?
Wow. My favorite holiday is Christmas. I love Christmas. Well, because my mom, although we were poor
financially,
she would start in January saving money, pennies at a time, and then on Christmas she would borrow, steal, whatever, and just come up with the best Christmas ever. And the gifts would just traverse across the floor, and we had the best of the best on that day. I love that.
I bet she's still with us.
Nope, she passed about 3 years ago. Yep.
I bet that was one of her best days of the year.
It was. She would sit on the couch, smoke a little cigarette, be like, I think there's one more gift for you, Shawn. Rock'em Sock'em Robot, Woolly Bird, TCR, Total Control Racing. Come on, man. Right?
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Thanks, man. Let's get the heck out of here. You got to go to Indianapolis.
Okay, done.
Thanks, man.
Let's go.
Uh-huh.